Hello, everybody. I'm Joshua Kilpatrick. Let me with this. So I'm an industry process consultant here at Dassault Systems. I've been here for the past 3 years, basically since I got my master's in systems engineering, focusing on model-based engineering and digital engineering. Before that, I was a systems integration engineer at Lockheed Martin for about 7 years. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about Cameo DataHub plugin. Um, so Cameo DataHub is an easy to use tool that allows customers to unify and relate requirements to systems architecture and design, handle the dependencies, relationships, and other information when it changes, allows for transformation of your data from requirements to your model or your model to your requirements, and allows synchronization data in both manual fashions and automatic. And you're able to monitor the changes of your data when you make these. So Data Hub is uh, an integration platform, and I want to give it a little bit of an overview where um, across any connection, it's going to have a similar user experience. And that's a continuously growing list. We're going to show the list on the next slide. But for data mapping on the fly, quick, easy edit for an import, export mapping. We have a schema or map manager, which allows you to create and reuse some of these maps across your organization. You have some default mappings with each connector and abilities to specify which default mapping or which mapping you want to make default. So different mapping scenarios for group and individuals. And you can even utilize mapping based off of an attribute or value. And then you can import and export mapping schemas for use across your organization. So you can also link to manage existing or analyze missing synchronizations and links. And then you can copy the sync tool and recover lost synchronizations. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the use case here as well, where you're going to connect to an external data source from our list of connections. And in this place, you're probably already going to have your use cases or your stakeholder needs, where then you're going to bring those into Magic, where you're going to develop out your use cases and specific model data to help help you to get down to your system level requirements based off of use cases and your behaviors. And then you're going to make these changes to your requirements based off of your model, and then continue to check for available information from both the data source and from the model to continue to refine your requirements. And then you're going to continue that synchronization so that you can have a single data source, or make sure you initiate your primary data source. So as I said, the overview of the tools, we have the Cameo and CATIA Magic products, or the Cyber Systems portfolio, IBM Doors Next Gen, CSV, Excel file repositories, the new driver and Jama Connect. And then between all of these, you can copy or synchronize text-based requirements and requirement objects between these applications in Magic. For user interface, it is a very friendly user interface, which allows for drag and drop in both directions. Here I'm showing grabbing the Cameo DataHub requirements, selecting the model exchange, and dropping them for export into the model. But you could also do the same where you're grabbing a requirement object from your containment tree, bring it into the requirement or into the exchange tool mode, and then select a location for it. So here's the interface for copying data. For copy data, it only copies the data. There's no synchronization, just pulling the data in one time. And then there's create a DH trace. So the DH trace only creates a link. So the link lives between a source and a target. And the trace can be a requirement on each side. It can be a requirement to a model element, use cases or blocks or for systems or maybe a function. So and then in the previous operation mode, whenever the source or target gets moved or changed, this will result in a link becoming suspect. And I'll show you a little bit more about the information you can find on the traces in a future slide. So for data with synchronization and more data syncs with a DH trace. So Magic draws so data synchronization is a process of sending all changes and attributes, including deleted item from source to target. And this allows you to maintain consistency of data across nodes in different data and data sources and applications. During synchronization, all types of changes of data or application are stored in the DH links, which within the project repository. Data synchronization can be categorized into functional types, which are data source synchronization and node synchronization, and synchronization of all items in the data source have DH links in current projects in application. So that's being able to have synchronization, and then more for copying data with DH trace allows you to keep that link as source and target elements. When nodes containing a trace link changes, it's still marked suspect, and then previous verified trace links is could be no longer valid. So looking at DH links, you can see that here you can see you have quite a bit of information that's displayed. The source of the link is the name of the element or node selected driver that has the DH link. And they're in order according to the data source. The direction of the synchronization, in this case, all of these are showing bidirectional, but you could also change from here the direction of the synchronization you would want to choose. So this is another shortcut where you can utilize direction. Your target is the name of the element that has a DH link from another source. The type is the type of element that this is, it's usually a node or a link. And then the status is synchronized, pending update, pending being deleted, executed, or orphan, meaning so. And then the DH trace is another option that you can have up here, which this is where it'll tell you whether it's suspect or traced. So you can utilize this to stay up to date on whether or not the information is up to date and know, where your data is coming from and the direction of your synchronization and your trace. For OSLC links, this is helping the ability of the user to have the capabilities to trace data from different tools. So typically you're going to have a type of relationship, whether it's validate or specify. And this relationship can be portrayed between the modeling tool and another source tool. And you can utilize link property to put different kind of source and target properties to these relations. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about the evolution of utilizing DataHub. So first, we opened up the DataHub Explorer and we're adding a data source. In this case, this is a Inovia TRM. I would like to note that this is one way that you can continue to add data sources for everything else. But in Inovia, in newer versions, there's a 3D experience tab where you would link your Inovia requirements. So then you would put in the location of your requirement management server and you would log in as you normally would. Here in Inovia, we're showing how many other objects are linked over time. But once we've linked with our Inovia requirement management source, we're able to see in the DataHub window all of the requirement and the containment paths and containment elements. And you can notice some of the relationships that are showing up here as well. And then in the operation drop-down window, we're able to select copy data, all the options we went over earlier. And then now we're going to select copy data with sync. And as you can see, it was a simple option operation to grab the appropriate level of requirement, specification, or package that we want to bring into the Magic modeling tool. And then the schema map manager shows up, which allows me to identify both the source and target object or element types so that it can automatically change over the rest of the elements or requirements from Inovia to the correct element object package. So first, we're bringing in the requirements and we're going to make them a requirement object. And then we're going to bring in a requirement group as a package. And the requirement specification is also going to be a package. We can select between the different synchronizations, one-way sync from the requirement management tool from Cameo, or dual synchronization. And after, we can see that the requirements have the same hierarchy in the modeling tool as they do the requirement management tool. And it also brings in the relations. Because of those relations, we're able to bring that data directly into the model. So we're going to grab the package level, the top package level of requirements, and then we're going to, I'm sorry, guys. And then we're going to select show containment relationship, which is going to bring in both specifications, which we also made package, and all the requirements underneath, because they are all contained under the demo project. So we're also looking, and we notice relationships between a relationship between max price and the vehicle color. So we can click on either of those requirement objects in the model and display the relation to show that in the model as well. Next, we're going to look at the specification of the max price. And we realized that there was an error in the requirement, or there's been a change since we've brought the information into the model. And we think that the max price should now be 30,000 instead of 25,000. We can make that change in the modeling tool. And you can see the changes in the modeling tool. And then we can push that change. Oh, my bad. First, we're going to add another requirement. And we're going to put it in the packaging that we imported. In this case, we're going to put it under business requirement. And we're just going to add a safety requirement. So next, I want to also, because we're showing dual synchronization, go into Innovia and make a change to a requirement. So we took the top speed from 106 or 175 to 160. So now we're going to use the DH links report to see what has changed. And you can make a comparison, or this is where you make a selection and you can compare the requirements in the two locations. And it'll help you verify which one you want to go with to make sure that you're synchronizing in the correct direction. So we want the max price, we've changed in Magic, and we want the speed change from the requirement management tool, both to be reflected. And we see that we also added a requirement. And we're going to synchronize. And it gives you a little report of the synchronization results. And you can see the safety requirement is here, and the max price has been updated. And then if we look at the max speed, it kept the speed that we had selected in the synchronization assistance. So in general, that's how the functionality and the user interface of DataHub is. Let's take another look of the newer connection with JAMA. And as you can see here, the 3D Experience tab is there since we're in 24x or newer, or 22x or newer, where the Innovia Data Hub integration will be in the 3D Experience tab. So first, we're going to start in this same place by dragging and dropping, except for now, Data Hub requirements into the model. And quickly create a quick schema that allows us to bring requirements as requirements. And if we had some kind of structure, we could apply that as well. And then we're going to quickly utilize the relationships to map out a requirements document or requirements model, requirements diagram. Again, we're just displaying the containment, but you can display any relation that you may have imported from your requirements management tool. And we're going to add another requirement here to show that the synchronization in both directions works. Oh, also you can take your requirements diagram and synchronize those with your requirement management tools. So just a quick look into JAMA after the synchronization, so that we can display the requirements diagram in the external tool. And in the JAMA side, we're going to add a new requirement from JAMA. We did not get very creative with the naming here. So again, I'm going to check out the report to see what's different. And since we're synchronized at the package level, it senses that there's a new requirement in that category. And we'll do this, we'll add that to the requirement diagram, and we'll display the containment path. So it also belongs to the sensor package. Again, we're not adding anything. We're just showing all the data that comes from JAMA. And now we're utilizing the synchronization button that's in the containment tree window. And we're able to utilize that or the synchronization in the drop-down menu. Now we're going to refresh in our JAMA window, and you can see that the diagram is updated to contain the new requirement for JAMA.